necessarily as heavily romantic as it was in the book.
No, it was more father-daughter in the show.
Yes, yeah. Did you guys, early on in the show, as things were developing, was that a thing that you and Jeffrey DeMunn thought was going to evolve from that? Did you guys ever have any discussions about where that relationship was going?
I think we thought it was, only because we read the first compendium, and that's how it was. So, you know, back then, the show wasn't going to go off on this other direction. Back then, we thought we were pretty much following the comic book. There was so many curveballs that happened since the beginning with showrunners and, you know, changes that, you know, none of it was expected. And frankly, I don't think any of it was planned.
It kind of took on a life of its own.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
With that, aside from yourself, as we're talking about Andrea's death and things like that, what was the toughest death while you were on the show for you to deal with?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, obviously Amy, that was, I don't think I've ever sobbed so hard in my life, you know, I mean, that broke Andrea's heart. And then second would be Dale.
Yeah. And then for you as an actor, losing a coworker who was one of the ones that you just didn't want to see go. I mean, obviously none of them, I would imagine, but
Amy, Dale, and Shane.
How does the audience feel about Shane?
He was awesome.
I imagine that would have been a little polarizing. So, if we're going to move on just a little bit, I wanted to ask you, between The Walking Dead, between The X-Files, The Mist, Silent Hill, does Laurie Holden, are you a scream queen? Do you consider yourself to be a scream queen?
I mean, I guess I am a little baby scream queen. Am I a scream queen? I'll take it.
Is that something that you ever intended, or you just kind of have...
Not even remotely. I mean, you know, but everything's kind of different. I mean, I've done so many other things. You know, I played, you know, in romantic and period pieces, and, you know, I just did a big comedy. But I think that, you know, when you do a genre and it's kind of, I mean, The X-Files is one of the biggest shows in the history of all time. You know, The Walking Dead is one of the biggest shows of all time. It's like, it kind of defines you, and then everybody kind of is like, oh, she does that, you know, scream thing. Because I die all the time. I know, I'm not joking. I have died, I remember 7 deaths.
7?
But I think I've died more.
That's impressive.
My mother doesn't like it.
How does your family feel when they, I mean, I can't even imagine what that's like as an actor when your family members see you die on television. Now, like I remember once I was sitting on TV, I think it was the show Boston Public. They were in a graveyard, had my name on a tombstone, terrified me. So I could only imagine what that's like for your family.
Yeah, I think that would be like an omen or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was like 20 years ago. I think I've dodged the bullet.
Yeah.
For now.
You did.
But your family not a fan of watching you. Do they watch you, and then do you give them kind of the heads up?
I have to give them the heads up, because why would I do that to my mother? I mean, you know what I mean? It's just, what mother wants to see that? You know what I mean? So I have to tell. I mean, I couldn't tell anybody about The Walking Dead, because, you know, I would have been sued.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Your mom would have been more upset about that, I would imagine.
My mom knew, obviously, but, you know, just out of respect for them, because it's traumatizing. I mean, I have a hard time watching The Walking Dead because, you know, I really love my coworkers, and I don't find it enjoyable to watch Herschel die. Like, to me, that's like...
Nobody finds that
that's
enjoyable.
I can't. I mean, I spend Christmas and my birthday with Scott Wilson. I don't want to see, you know, him beheaded.
I can't even imagine coming from that angle of it, because of all the horrible things that your coworkers are getting put through, and then to see it, because I mean, you're there and it's work, but then when you see it all edited and put together, like the stuff that the governor did to Maggie and Glenn and Herschel and Michelle and you, and of course and yes, and of course Andrea as well.
He killed me.
Is it weird to see you in that case? Do you watch yourself?
I don't.
They don't. That's fair.
No.
If I could talk about The Mist for a second, because it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love that movie. A fantastic, if you have not watched The Mist, for real.
It's Stephen King, it's really cool.
It's Stephen King, fantastic movie. But what a lot of people might not know, people that haven't seen the movie, is there's so many of you from The Walking Dead on the show. What was that like being reunited with them when you went to work?
It's awesome. I mean, You know, Frank Darabont was the original showrunner on The Walking Dead. He was the one who hired all the actors, hired the entire crew. I mean, basically, he is the one that created, you know, I mean, Robert Kirkman is the source material. Frank Darabont created the television world. But he cast it, and you know, every aspect of production, he hired such incredible artists that it kind of runs itself. Not to take anything away from Scott Gimple, who is extraordinary, the current showrunner. But you know, there's nothing better than working with your friends. And Frank directed The Mist, and Melissa McBride, who plays Carol, was in it, and Jeff DeMunn, who plays Dale, was in it, and I was in it. And so we bonded on that movie, and then we got to like play again on The Walking Dead, and it was like, oh my god, it's awesome. You're playing this part, I'm playing this part, you know.
So is there another horror franchise that you would like to reunite with them, perhaps, or work with yourself in another scary movie or scary TV show?
You know, I don't really have anything in mind. I mean, I really like science fiction, and I love, I wouldn't mind doing another comic book related thing. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of like the right material with the right part. There's so many elements that go into it, but I would love to be part of a franchise. Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah.
It's awesome.
Would you like to make a ton of money? With that in mind, talking about scary movies and you working on scary movies, do you like to watch them? No. And you know, it's funny that you bring this up, because I feel like a lot of the actors that I know that are Scream Queens or Scream Kings, all of them say that they have a really hard time watching scary movies.
I mean, you know, it's not for everybody. I mean, I totally respect and understand that some people love it. I don't like getting scared, because then I have nightmares. I'm looking under my bed. I'm looking in my closet before I go to sleep. You know, I don't want to do those rituals. You know.
To me, the sign of a good horror movie is one that gives me nightmares and keeps me from sleeping. So
I wouldn't swim in my swimming pool as a kid after Jaws. Okay.
The logistics
Seriously.
of that, I'm not sure if they add up.
It's water.
Fair enough.
And then I was scared of like being in my bathtub after that Freddy Krueger movie.
As the Freddy Krueger music is playing through the park right now.
So it stays in your head.
Oh, terrifying. What was Halloween like for you growing up?
I love Halloween. I'm really excited because I'm going to Atlanta after this, and I'm meeting all my Walking Dead friends, and we're in Atlanta for Walker Stalker.
Awesome. Anybody going? Anybody making the trip? We got right there. We got one right there.
You are? That's so cool. You know, I love Halloween. It's my favorite celebratory time of the year. I just think it's so cool. I just went to, what's it called? The Delta Scary?
Oh yeah, Delta Die.
Delta Die, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Delta Die. I went through, my wife, who's in the audience somewhere, we went through that a couple weeks ago, and they took her away from me to have her jump out and scare me during the thing. So that was fun. Thanks, Jamie, by the way. So, would you go through haunted houses and stuff like that? Do people jumping out at you? Does that freak you out?
No, I did it. I just did it before I came here. I loved it. I thought that was fun.
What scares you aside? Like, okay, so we know that you don't like freaking out when you watch a movie, but what gets in your head? What's your biggest fear, Laurie Holden?
My biggest fear?
Yeah, what's your deepest, darkest fear, Laurie Holden?
Yeah, right. Like, I'm going to be telling you that tonight.
Yeah.
I don't like the dark.
Really? Nyctophobia?
Yeah. I don't like the dark. I think it would really suck to be eaten by a shark.
I would imagine that would not be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, go out on a limb, again, no pun intended.
No, but seriously, with global warming, the water's getting warmer and there's more shark attacks, and that's like, I just wish that they'd be happy a little further away.
You guys just go out a little bit, you guys do your thing.
But there are no sharks near Ohio, so everybody's safe here.
That is one thing we don't have to worry about. If sharks start showing up in the Ohio River, we got a problem.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
All right, so what is next? Is there anything you can tell us about that you're working on at the moment? Or I know sometimes things are tip-top secret.
I do have something that's a tip-top secret, but as I'm doing some stuff behind the scenes.
Really?
Yeah, I'm producing a movie in England.
Can you tell us about that, or is that also kind of tip-top secret?
It's just kind of underway.
It's on our way?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool. Would you guys like to ask some questions of Laurie Holden this evening?
Look at how cute she is.
We're going to get our fine folks from Kings Island here. They're going to get you guys set up in 2 lines here. And we're just going to go, we're going to have 1 line over here, and we're going to have 1 line over here, and we're going to go back and forth. So we'll start over here.